Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
We're back. 3-week, 4-week, 5-week vacation.
Yes.
We're broke. We're back and we're broke.
Yay. I'm Spencer. Of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Dr. Nas, hello, folks.
Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to rub those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, you may not have noticed, but we have been away for a few weeks now, right? So, we were traveling the country, doing all the funs, going to national parks, sleeping in tents, almost freezing to death. All the great things you could ever ask for on a trip.
Yep.
So, yeah. We'll be having more photos come out,
Soon.
as we get settled in here. But yeah, fun trip. Definitely would do most spots again. I would definitely do Banff and like Yellowstone again because I think there's just so much to explore there. But
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was my dad told me a park ranger had to shoot someone and they killed him in Yellowstone the other day. And then, he got shot too. I was like, what the hell was going on in Yellowstone?
I didn't know rangers had guns.
Yeah, I think they got guns. Yeah. We were fine. Everything went good on the trip. Everything went good.
Yeah, we didn't get shot. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Only when we get home. So today, as you can see, we have a special guest. He is a leader of his own brand called Lost Soul clothing brand, right? He's been on the show before. Welcome back once again, Keshawn Jones. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Glad to have you. Yeah. And so once again, please go check out Lost Soul clothing brand. We'll have it linked in the description in this video. So please go check them out. So today, the movie that we are covering is called Pearl. Oh, wait, there it is. I don't know what way it is. There it is. So today we're going to be covering that. It's a prequel to the movie before called X, all about Pearl and kind of her journey to fame and all the blood that got her there.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about a few things. few of them being just like, what does it mean to really kind of have that fame, and what does it mean to kind of go after it? A little bit of isolation also that we've seen in the film, as well as just kind of what it means to really go forward and try to be all that you can be
By any means necessary.
by any means necessary. Yep. Yep.
Shout out
Wouldn't be.
to
Oh
Malcolm
yeah.
X.
Yeah. Yep. I love how we're doing Malcolm X quote with the star of a white person film.
Yeah, well,
Literally no black people in this movie. I don't think.
No, there's not.
I don't think
No.
there is. No,
19
it's also
Not
18.
one.
1918.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to be a black person in this film. No.
No. So we got a few great things we're gonna be talking about, but Nas, anything before we get into the show?
It's our first horror film that we've talked about,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm excited to finish watching it. I haven't seen it all because we've been back from vacation. I was knocking out a bunch of other things. Just finally watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just finished it. Last episode. It's really good. Excited. There's a bunch of other stuff I finished too. But we're gonna get to this. A lot of murder in this. A lot of murder. And I'm glad we're not focusing directly on the murder, but kind of what leads to it and what's under the surface, the isolation, the shame, the lack of like ego strength and identity, what kind of leads you to some of these spirals. Also, there's some psychosis in there too. But excited to have Keshawn back on with us, right? Been a homie since day one. I can't believe you stuck with us on all the stupid shit that we say.
Not taking y'all too seriously, right?
Yeah, you can't. You get one good thing. Real quick, Keshawn, when you listen to us sometimes, do you gotta laugh real good every once in a while? You gotta be like, damn, this is funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not only just from y'all, but the guests that y'all bring on too. Like it just mixing personalities is really great.
Yep. Random question for you before we get started. I guess this is a different experience. Out of all the guests that we've had, do you have like a top couple favorites, one or two, or is it too hard to ask?
It's too hard to ask because like everyone brings in something completely different from the other.
Yeah.
Even if they're like within the same fields. Like the last one I watched with Frozen with Dr. Gilly,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, like she just brought in like a completely different energy versus like the other people that y'all bring in. So yeah. And I try to do it like by movie basis, like who's talking about what subject that hits the hardest for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I figured I'd ask. Well, I'm gonna kick it back over to Spence and he'll get to the rest of the show, but let's get into it. Whoop whoop.
All right, let's do it. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
There it is. Yeah.
I was waiting for your whoop whoop, Dr. Nas.
Oh, I said whoop whoop. I said
He
it.
did it quite.
Okay,
You said
okay.
it like real quick.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
What do
He moved on.
I did. I passed by. Shawnee, what you doing? All right, let's get to the show.
Let's do it.
Should I go and fetch your mother?
No.
How about I get you something nice to drink?
Mama was right. Never getting off this farm.
And where would you want to go?
Europe.
Europe? What on earth for? It'll be in ruins, and you'll never get Howard back there, I tell you. Oh, come on now. I know you're disappointed, but there's no sense in taking it this hard. It's just a lousy old church group. Those old dolts. They know the first thing about quality dancing.
You don't understand.
What don't I? Come on, Pearl. What's really the matter?
I don't feel well.
You're not coming down with something, are you?
No, it's nothing like that.
Oh, thank goodness. If I snuck out of the house and ended up bringing home nothing but the germ, my mother and father would just kill me.
I'm worried there may be something real wrong with me, Mitzi.
How do you mean?
Seems like there's something missing in me that the rest of the world has.
Have you told Howard?
I've never spoken about it out loud to anyone. So afraid of what people might think.
Pearl. Howard's your husband. He adores you. Shouldn't be afraid to tell him how you feel.
I'm scared of what I might say.
Well, practice on me first then. Pretend I'm Howard, and you just say whatever's on your mind.
I can't.
Yes, you can. Go on, get it all out.
Really?
Yes. Trust me.
Howard.
Go ahead, Pearl.
I hate you so much for leaving me here. Sometimes I hope you die. Sorry. Awful admitting that, but it's the truth. I was curious about other men. I'm sure you don't want to hear about a stranger satisfying your wife, and I swear it was only once. It was a mistake. It wasn't him that I wanted, I know that now. I wish things could just go back to the way they were before, but I don't see how they could. Not after the things I've done.
What else have you done, Pearl?
Oh, Howard. I realize how this all must sound. Honestly, there was a time I was flattered to have someone as handsome as you pine over me. You're such a good person, I know that. I made sure to always be mindful with your heart. I never wanted you to feel jealous. It's an awful feeling, like a rot, the way it just twists and turns at your insides. I know that aching so well. I feel it whenever I see others whose lives come easy, because the truth is I'm not really a good person.
Pearl, I think I should.
The reason I kept my eyes to the ground around other men was never to avoid hurting you. It's because I understood how lucky I was to have your attention. I may be a poor farm girl, Howard, but I'm not stupid. I spotted you the moment you came to live with us. You worked hard, like the other farmhands, but you were different. You're from somewhere. A nice, comfortable place that you could return to whenever you wanted. I'm so desperate to have that. All my life I've wanted off this farm, and you were my ticket out. So, I made sure to never let you see who I really was. I wore it like a charm, too. Then, when you finally brought me back to your home to meet your family, it was just as I hoped. Life straight out of the pictures. At least that's what it felt like to me. You didn't want it. You just wanted to stay here on our farm, and that made me so angry. How could you? I'm certain you knew I hated it. You must have. How could you be so selfish and cruel after all I'd done to make you happy? I was even pregnant with your baby. I never wanted to be a mother. I love the feeling of it growing inside me. I felt like sickness. Pulling, sucking on me like some needy animal in a barn. How could I be responsible for another life? Life terrifies me. It's harsh and bleak and draining. I was so relieved when it died. It's one less weight keeping me trapped here, but then the war came and you left me too. Why did you leave me, Howard? I hate feeling like this. It's so pathetic. Do people like you ever feel this way? I figure you don't. You seem so perfect all the time. Lord must have been generous to you. He never answers any of my prayers. I don't know why. What did I do? What is wrong with me? Please just tell me so maybe I can get better. I don't want to end up like Mom, or I want to be dancing up on the screen like the pretty girls in the pictures. I want what they have so badly. To be perfect. To be loved from as many people as possible to make up for all my time spent suffering. Sometimes I wake in the middle of the night and the fear washes over me, because what if this is it? What if this is right where I belong? I'm a failure. I'm not pretty, or naturally pleasant, or friendly. I'm not smart, or funny, or confident. I'm exactly what Mama said I was, weak. I don't know why. What did I do? Why wasn't my family like yours? I hate what it feels like to be me and not you. I'm so scared that when you finally come home, you'll see me and be frightened like everyone else is. I know what I've done. The bad things. Terrible, awful, murderous things. I regret them now, but I liked how they felt. I wish I didn't, but I did. At first, it was only animals smaller than myself. Nothing with feelings, nothing that could hurt me back. Felt good. Killing's easier than you'd think. Till recently, with Mama and the boy from the picture house, they were different. They were more meaningful. I hurt them so they too might know what it feels like to suffer, but poor Daddy didn't deserve that. I wish I hadn't done what I did. Mama meant well. She had a hard life. She only wanted a home to feel safe in. I can see that. I thought I hated her, but I just want to feel safe too. Howard, I made such a mess of things. I don't know how much more I can take. I need to clean this up. All of it. I need to make things right before you see me again. Maybe if I can turn this farm into a home for us like you wanted, things will finally be different. I can forgive. I can be who you want me to be. If you just stay with me. Will you do that, please? I can't be all by myself anymore. It's too hard. We can love each other. I'll do that for you. If you really meant all that, till death do us part. It'd be enough. Just you and me here on this farm. All I really want is to be loved. I'm having such a hard time without it lately.
I should probably get going now. Mother'll be wondering where I am if I'm not home soon.
Are you frightened of me?
No.
sick?
No.
Thank you.
How'd you find that?
I am not blind to what goes on around here. Take your dinner. Stay in the bunkhouse.
But it's freezing out there.
You should have told her that before putting me at risk.
Isolate yourself until we know you're not ill.
That is what's right.
There's a dance audition in town tomorrow. I'm going to it.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Why?
Find out if I'm good enough.
Good enough for what, Pearl?
Something more than this.
Where does all this ungratefulness stem from? How is it you find our life so beneath you? You've always had a roof over your head, food in your belly. Do you not think that came at great sacrifice from your father and I?
Or do you think we are beneath you too?
If I'm meant to live out the rest of my days with you and Daddy on this farm, then so be it. But I'm only young once. If I go to this audition and I don't get picked, then I'll come home and I'll never speak of it again, I swear. But I have to know that I tried or I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. Please, Mama, you have no idea what I'm capable of.
Oh, yes, I do. I've seen the things you've done in private. You believe no one is watching. You think others won't notice? You can't keep your true self hidden forever, Pearl. They will notice eventually and they will be frightened. Just as I am.
You're wrong.
Am I? Then what a fine woman you hope to become. Leaving your mother alone to rot so you could dance with a bunch of city whores. Let alone the illness you may contract and spread. You've seen what it does to your father. That's what you want for yourself and others? And maybe that is what you wish for me.
Of course not.
Stop lying! I can't stand the sound of it anymore. It's almost as abhorrent as your sinful behavior. You are not well, Pearl. It's only a matter of time before you hurt someone else. Malevolence is festering in you. I see it. And I will not in good conscience let you leave this farm again.
You can't stop me.
Oh, yes, I can. You don't want to know what I could do to you. I shoulder a burden you will never understand. Spend my days feeding and wiping the snot off the face of the man I married. You dare sit there and talk to me about regret? I was supposed to be his wife, not his mother. Don't you ever speak that way to me again, do you hear me?
Sorry.
No! You're not! Or you would stop all this! Here! Take it! That's what you really desire, isn't it? Perhaps I should kill him for you. That way you don't have to care for him any longer. Would that suit your selfish dreams better? Then we can both go to the dance audition. Your husband is gone, so is mine. Why should we be saddled with caring for them or the work of this farm? What about us getting what we want? I won't suffer for you any longer. You want to leave? Go. But when you fail, and you will fail,
I want you to remember what it feels like.
because that's how I feel every time I look at you. Nearly everything I ever had has been taken from me. What more do you want?
I just don't want him to block you, is all.
I won't let you flaunt your arrogance in my face! You are not better than me! Yes, I am! I'm
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too. So go check them out. Hey everybody, we back once again.
We're back and we're live. This is live as Pearl's entire family. So we're so live, we're dead.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, we're dead inside. So
Yep, they're going.
They're eating dinner in the last scene, so they's alive.
Oh, it's so nice. Eating dinner.
It's a
That's
family
always
moment.
a nice scene to end on,
Shabbat.
you know? Yeah. So let's get into the scene. So Keisha, can you give us a little bit of a breakdown? What is Pearl? What is this movie all about?
Okay, for anyone who hasn't watched Pearl, it's a movie about Pearl. She's living on a farm with her family, her mother and her father, who is, we never got like an actual description of what the father has, but he's basically a potato at this point. This movie takes place like during World War I and the Spanish flu. Her husband is all fighting in a war, and she works on the farm and helping her father and mother. She wants to become a dancer. She finds out about this audition for a church that's going around in the States looking for dancers. So with her and Mitzi is her sister-in-law. So they go out to this audition and try to audition for a dance. Pearl doesn't get the role. She wants to be famous. She wants to be loved and seen by as many people as possible because of the situation that she's dealing with at home. And she gets rejected and goes on a bit of a murdering spree.
As one does. You know.
Yes, of course. I'm bored on this farm. Let me murder.
You know what? I should be famous. This is the whitest movie I've ever seen.
It's not.
I deserve so much more.
That's for sure.
I deserve so much more.
I want to get off of this farm and be a dancer. It's like, all right, okay. There may be more auditions. Just so you know, there might be a few
more than one.
Yeah. You don't have to kill the people that get the one spot, you know. But you know, it's probably building up before that even happened.
Oh yeah.
That was just the spark. That was just like,
Yeah, and she lost her supports, but we'll get into that. Keshawn, real quick, was there like a lot of hype behind this movie before it came out? Because I guess Spencer was saying it's part of a trilogy series.
Yeah, so it is a part of a trilogy series. So X was the first movie to come out that featured the older version of Pearl and Kid Cudi and a lot of different people of Maxine. They're shooting a porno in Pearl's in Howard's farm, and they get all murdered by Pearl and her husband Howard. And then this is the prequel to that of Pearl, seeing her younger life and how that came to be. Okay. And then the trilogy Maxine that just came out recently as Friday of this recording. Maxine is the older version who lived through Howard and Pearl, and it was trying to make it as a porn star in Hollywood.
It sounds like a whole lot of trauma.
Yeah. Huh. We got porn. We got murder. Trauma.
We got white women. You know.
All the white women you could ask for.
It's Texas white women too. It's Texas
we
women
got a
in
lady
California
with no eyebrows.
Is that Charlie Villanueva?
Charlie Villanueva.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, but was there a lot of hype at these movies because it's an A24 production, or was this kind of the under the radar? Because I think I did see some promos for it, but you know, I don't pay attention. Me and Spence don't watch a lot of scary stuff.
I would say like within A24, obviously they have the respects of new horror of being like very, very different. If you ever seen like any of their movie from Midnight Summers to Infinity Pool, which also features Mia Goth. Um, I would say like you have to be in the know to like actually hear the hype, but like Pearl is probably like their most successful movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they're all they only budgeted for like $1 million. That was it.
No way.
Yeah.
So for both X and Pearl, only $1 million for both.
How much did they rake in?
So one got 10, Pearl got 10, and I think X had like 15, maybe.
Okay.
Let
Well, I
me
know
double check
A24
that.
also helped produce Beef, the
True.
Netflix
Yes, they
series,
did, yeah.
and
Which I think y'all did.
Everywhere, Anything, and All for Nothing, or whatever. That
Yes.
won all the awards. All for Nothing.
Yes, like that is obviously their big commercial hit with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, wow.
I would have wished that Mia Goth would have got a nomination, but the Grammy specifically doesn't recognize horror movies, so she never would have got one. But she deserved it though.
Yeah, that was intense.
Action films, horrors, they don't really look at very much.
From the little bits
yeah.
I've seen, this was legit.
Yeah.
I'm excited to break down. Spence, I'm kick back to you for any questions, collaborations.
Question. So of all the films, right, what made you really want to do this film, Pearl?
So what made me want to choose Pearl is one, I don't think y'all have ever done a horror movie, so I wanted to kind of bring in that light. I love horror movies. I feel like the characters within horror movies deserve a fair shake as far as like getting therapized before they became the monster that they are. Because at the end of the day, like they're human before they turn. Pearl specifically, I feel like she goes through what most young people go through as far as like feeling either trapped in a situation that they're in, having a bad relationship, probably like with their parents or friends or support system that should be their support system, and kind of putting all their eggs in one basket on one opportunity. And if they miss it, kind of dealing with the ramifications of that and not feeling like that's the end of the world. Because obviously Pearl chose that like that was the end of her world, and she had to axe a few people up just because she didn't get what she wanted. And along with tying in like social media of like everyone wants to be seen, everyone wants to be liked and loved. So I think a lot of young people also feel that way.
Yeah,
totally. And also, I mean, it's like now it feels like it's even more pressure now because of social media, because
absolutely.
you have the platforms to do it, right? Like people like 1918, like you have a few, if you're in like rural Texas or whatever, it's like, you're not going to get many chances at doing things. Now everybody has a chance, and maybe there's even more pressure there to actually do something because you see everyone else getting stuff done and having deals and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what am I doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you look at like what just happened recently with the Hawk-Tuah girl, she lives like in a small town in Tennessee, and like she's absolutely blowing up from that.
Literally blowing up.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Double entendre.
But you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me, her rise to stardom is just as big as damn near the guy during the pandemic, the Chicano guy drinking cranberry juice on the skateboard.
Oh, yeah. And the same with like the yodeler kid, like in the store, like these one-off situations we build up. I mean, like maybe that is the blame on like American society and how we view entertainment and everything. We just blow up the wrong people and just for like, literally nothing.
Literally nothing.
But we make them famous. We make them millionaires.
Certainly do. We certainly do. Oh wow, talking about blowjobs. Wow, make them famous.
Instantly.
Make this white woman famous. Oh hey, doing any civil rights stuff?
No.
Who cares? Who cares? Any humanitarian things? No.
Dude, this is super interesting. Like, I mean, yesterday I was at the gym on my private page, just my personal page, and I pull it up and it was like some art page that I follow with 1 million followers, and there was nothing but promos for like pornography. And OnlyFans. And so I look at the comments just to see, and they're like unfollow reports. I was like, you know what? I'm going to report this because this is supposed to be an art page. So it's amazing how far that video was able to go. And this is where I'm going to turn this. Some folks made some comments on one of our podcasts, Spencer, the genocide one, which is the Marvel one that we did on the X-Men, and relating that to like Palestine related stuff. Well, there's some comments that were on there and I was going to get to, but I was busy. Instagram and Meta deleted them. I did not delete them. I did not do anything to them. It was specifically, they were talking about issues related to Palestine and issues with BetterHelp, and them having issues with us being sponsored by BetterHelp because Israel like promoted them and said everyone in Israel gets 6 months of free therapy through BetterHelp. BetterHelp clarified that and said anyone dealing with the war in general or who has fallouts or issues with the war in general, doesn't matter where you live in the world, can get therapy from BetterHelp for 6 months. So I do want to promo that, but I was going to respond to that. And when I went to, it was gone. I don't know if that person deleted it, but I feel like Meta was deleting things from that post. It's interesting what gets pushed, what doesn't get pushed. We talked about this with Dr. Rich Hall. I feel like a lot of folks of color do get suppressed on social media, specifically Meta, where these other folks, they tend to get tons of followers. Like I see some of these therapists that are starting out and lack for a better word, white women, then we get like 2,000, 3,000 followers instantly. And us, dude, it took us like a year and a half to get there. And then we started to take off. I'm done on my little rant, but there's some funny business going on in our comment section. I promise you it's me not deleting these things. I promise you, for those of us listening.
No. And just kind of piggybacking off of that, it's kind of just, it's ridiculous how much, and you don't want to come off as just like complaining about it because then you're just seen as like you're crying about certain things.
Yeah, we're not getting famous.
It's a real big issue. It's like all these voices don't get heard because they don't fit a certain profile. Like, oh, I'm not selling sex. We're just trying to get mental health out there, getting people to either, laugh, learn, all these different things. But the fact that we're men and that we're not completely on either side of things also plays a big part too, and it kind of sucks for the fact that we only can see, oh, hey, go buy my OnlyFans. I'm a snitch. I will snitch those accounts out. I don't care. I'm just like, no, I don't want to be seeing this right now. It's like I'm just trying to laugh and enjoy my feeds. I don't feel like seeing ass every 5 seconds.
Bro, this was like Instagram. It was real pornographic. I'm like, bro, this is an art page. But as we piggyback back to like everyone wanted to be famous.
Right.
I mean, it's true. And I was thinking about this podcast. I was thinking about this yesterday. So I think it's awesome that it ties into this with Keshawn's topic today. I don't think me and Spencer started this like wanting to be famous. We started this just a couple of best friends that just wanted to laugh and already talk about movies. Go figure, this entire podcast was based around hyperphantasia, which I had no idea what the hell it was until 2 podcasts ago. And how I visualize and see things and interpret things. And I figured that other people can learn from it. And then Instagram is nothing but people using these reels to like laugh at things. Not a lot of them are like psychoeducational. So we did this to create a community. I remember one of the therapists, Spencer, said, well, after, off the record, they were like, why are you guys even doing this? Like, are you trying to like make money? I was like, well, if we make money, awesome. But they were like, are you trying to like get clients? I'm like, no, I'm not trying to get any clients. Am I supposed to get clients? They're like, well, I don't like, how are you going to make money off of this? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just doing this. And like one day we'll just continue to interview people and we'll just build a show. And I just thought about how they wanted us to monetize things and like get clients and coach and like do therapy with people online. I was like, well, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. I just want to have fun and like give education, free education, free. So I was thinking about these things and how we pervert things into being famous and monetizing things. I also know I'm very privileged and I make a good amount of money now, so I don't have to do that. Now that I started my own private practice, I still don't plan on getting any clients from here. Like, I don't want to get clients from here. This is supposed to be like free psychoeducation.
Right.
My private practice is working for folks like in my community. So it's just things I was thinking about while working out yesterday. First time working out in a month. I can barely move. I can barely fucking move. Like everything hurts.
Yeah.
My ankles are swollen. I'm like, am I pregnant?
Yes. Welcome to motherhood.
All right. I'll kick it back to you, Spence. Any more questions for Keshawn?
Yeah. So you kind of speak about like just Pearl's humanity in the beginning, right? And how it just slowly kind of dilutes and things like that.
Yeah.
Is this like one of your favorite characters in like horror films, or do you have somebody whose like origin story that you've seen and they built up in other ways that you like more?
I would say like with horror in general, like you rarely get to see like character pieces that actually go into depth. Like when's the last time you actually know about like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger? Like you don't really get to see like their story, their origin. So I would say Pearl was like one of the first like horror character that we actually get to see why she is the way she is. And like she's a normal girl for the most part, like she was, until like the things kept like building and building and building until she reached a breaking point, and you feel trapped and you lash out when you don't have like anything else to do.
Right.
Yep. How else do you escape? And then, you know, people can only push your button so much. And then, you know, people do have a point, a boiling point. So we'll get into that in a minute. Spence, do you think you have, I know you don't watch a lot of horror. Do you have any certain characters that you really enjoy in horror films?
That's tough. That's a tough one. I probably have to like see a list or something of like actual ones, like and be like, oh yeah, those.
Yeah.
But you know, like you go for like the Freddy Kruegers and yeah, the Jasons and stuff like that because they're just so classic.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, how did a guy who gets like burnt up in like a old mill become like a guy who just goes into your dreams and like all that stuff? You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then one guy who drowns as a kid and then just becomes like a murderer, you know, and you're like, oh, okay.
This is
that makes
nice.
sense. Yeah, this is something.
Like the Chucky series.
You can survive in space, like sure.
Yep.
I guess what's his face from not Buffalo Bill, but
Hannibal?
who is he from? Yeah, Hannibal. I mean
he was a real person, so
well, Buffalo Bill was, but I don't know if Hannibal Lecter was.
Now,
yeah.
So that gives you a good backstory with the TV show, not so much as the movies, but the Prelude, which is the TV show, which is rated one of the best like TV shows, and it's in the top like 100.
Yeah, and like that whole family. I think it's like I forgot what it's like the not Madsons. Trying to figure out what his name was. I love the actor, the guy who actually plays Hannibal. He's fantastic.
Oh yeah, the British guy.
Yeah, he is. Oh, Michelson.
Yep, he's the bad
Mads
guy.
Mikkelsen.
Bad guy in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and then like his brother Lars was Thrawn.
Yep.
And just both amazing actors, and I also loved him in Casino Royale. Like one of the best like Bond villains ever.
It's his voice, it's his face, it's he's good looking in a scary way.
Good looking one.
I'd take a stabbing from him. Yeah. Wait a minute, that sounded pretty gay.
From the front and back.
I just got done watching The Boys, and so the new episode.
Yeah. It's very.
He wants to. He's like, I get bored with holes, and so he makes a new hole in people and then screws it. It's pretty graphic. The Boys is very graphic.
The new episode is very,
it's out there.
They should probably put warning on there. It should be like, it's a little bit,
dude. I was freaking out.
Salty.
Yeah, I was freaking out. If we were looking at horror films and shows, I used to watch them a lot, and then when I was younger, probably the most terrifying shit of my life. And then I stopped in high school and college, and the only thing that I really watched that's super scary was all the American Horror Stories. I actually really enjoy those. Okay. Terrifying, but they're done pretty well. The stories, the build up, the characters. I think I'm behind like at least 3 seasons because I haven't watched it since the pandemic, but I've always enjoyed those. Other than that, I know that's Chucky shit. I mean, Chucky was terrifying. Chucky was terrifying.
Yeah, having a doll come and try to murder you is
Yeah.
pretty scary
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Soul
And
of
that's the
a
thing too,
serial
like
killing.
when like people bring up horror movies, they still talk about like the ones from the 90s, from the
yeah,
Chuckies, the Jasons, the
not the
Freddys,
recent stuff.
and like yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to bring up like a more recent film. I think Pearl came out in like 2022,
2.
along with like a lot of great other horror movies. Like horror movies stuck out that year, like entirely.
There you go.
I think that also has to do like you don't have like main characters who are commercially like available or sound, right? Because Freddy, Jason, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all of them have their looks, right?
Yeah.
While like most of these films, they're like everyday people that
Yes.
like go through some shit
And
and
then
it's
it
like
happens.
terrifying,
Yeah.
right? And it's just to a whole other level that they do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're looking to doing a little bit more of them though. I'll start putting a few more on the list
Right.
and then let people choose from. But you're right. Any more questions, Spence?
Yeah, we're good. We can get into it.
All right. So real quick, what the hell you been up to? Let the folks know what you've been up to, Keshawn, right? You returned from last year as one of our guests, right? One of our followers. What you been up to?
Yeah, so I'm back from the last episode I did with them of Yes Man, completely different from Pearl, like a world of difference. I'm continuing my studies in social work. I have about 3 more classes before I graduate, so I'm super excited about that.
Nice.
Be graduating towards like the winter time.
Congrats.
Other than that, like I just came back from vacation the last 2 weeks. I spent time in the U.S. in Argentina, Buenos Aires area, and yeah, like enjoyed time seeing my friends and family, and really, really enjoyed myself. And now I'm back in Germany, where I work at currently for the next like few years. So yeah.
Yep. And so you got to meet some of your artists that work for your clothing brand right out in Argentina?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been working with my artist group since 2020, like after the pandemic, and I got to meet them for the first time, like in person. Most of them speak Spanish, but one girl, and specifically Layla, she speaks like fluent English. Like hers really, really good, even though she won't say so. But talking through her, translating for everyone else, and getting to meet them, it was really, really nice time.
That's awesome.
And Buenos Aires is really, really beautiful. Like definitely for the beaches as well.
That's awesome.
Do you want to give them like any shout outs at all? Any of your artists or anything like that?
Yeah, and hopefully I can give y'all like the links too, so y'all can follow the artist. So there's Leela. She's a published artist. She makes her own comics within Argentina. She colors for me, like she's my main colorist. Pablo, he is my main artist. He's a traditional artist who makes my comics, illustrations. Most of the stuff on my website is like his art. You got Carlos. He was the first artist that I hired in 2020. He makes a lot of horror art, which I specifically liked at that time. You see, I have Christy. She's one of my artists from Colorado, from the States. So I do hire like everywhere, like worldwide. I worked with everyone from Sri Lanka to artists like in Vietnam, from the States, Argentina, like literally anywhere. The world is full of artists, and I try to find the really cool ones to work with. And their artwork is really, really good. I'll share the links when it gets posted. So
I got a lot of them from the other one, but then if you got new ones, you'll send them to me and then I'll post it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. The social work thing. This is the bachelor's or the master's?
The bachelor's.
That's what I thought. And then you're in the military, right?
I'm working as a contractor in logistics with them.
There you go. Right. And so you're over in Germany. What, if you can, I don't know if you can, what is the biggest city you're close to in Germany?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Okay. Yeah, I know where Frankfurt's at. Okay. My boy is stationed out there in a little small town called Amberg, not Hamburg, but Amberg, over by Nuremberg.
Hamburg. Okay.
Yep.
I'm actually going there for a concert next week to see the Midnight.
Okay. There you go.
Nice.
I was thinking about Germany, Spencer, and then we'll get into the scenes. So we was driving through these woods, right? And it was with all these cedar trees. And this was Glacier National Park. And it was just rows and rows of trees, man. And you couldn't see nothing when you're on this famous road called Go to the Sun through Glacier Park. And it reminded me being in Germany because they call it on that west side there, that Black Forest. Because all the trees, right, it gets like black, that pitch. I mean, there's so many fucking trees. And then they got that black allude to it. We got lost in the woods out there in the Black Forest, got lost, ran out of water, food, cell phones didn't work. It was a crazy night, almost died with me and my boy, Puerto Rican boy. Got into a full-blown fight, because I was blaming him, he was blaming me. Bullshit. But it reminds me of Germany, and then we're talking to you. So we'll probably do a podcast just about our trip like we did for our Disney trip. We'll probably do that in the coming weeks. Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Bring Selima like we did last time, show some pictures. It just reminded me we should probably do that in this moment. So let's get into
still the happiest place on earth.
It is.
Yeah. Unless you fry to death. Jesus. So hot.
Part of me died there. So
yeah. Literally.
All right. So these scenes, let's mosey on over. Let's trickle on over to these things. So what do we got? This first scene here that you showed to us, the monologue scene. Why bring up this scene, Keshawn?
All right, with y'all specifically, it's a therapized section of the movie where Mitzi, her sister-in-law, takes down Pearl and role plays as Howard, Pearl's husband, and basically allowing her the chance to get everything off her chest of what happened like in a few days within the movie, from what the projectionist kept in her mind as far as like going out into the world and trying to actually pursue dancing. He's the one that like got her to like try to go to feeling entrapped by her mother's situation with having a sick father who they basically have to take care of and do everything from her, like bathe them, wipe them, feed them, everything, to her feelings of her mom, that she didn't want to basically end up like her and trapped in a home with this is your life and there's nothing you can do about it, to her feelings about her husband, the sapping, draining process of having a baby when you don't want to. So she was happy that she had, I don't think she had an abortion. I think she had like a miscarriage.
Stillbirth. Yeah.
It doesn't like clarify like what happened, but the baby's gone. And she didn't want the baby anyway, because it was just another thing that would keep her trapped in the barn. To how she felt about Mitzi, because in her mind, it's not clearly said that like Mitzi got the part of the dancing, but it's pretty much like assumed that they looked for her, like someone like her and not Pearl, who wanted this, who needed this, who put all her eggs in her basket to have this chance to get out the farm. Like that was her only one shot to do this. Not looking really like at the longevity of her life, because either she does this or she stays in a house in a barn with her family, what was left of it. And yeah, it's just a full breakdown scene of everything going on.
Full breakdown. So I'll pivot over to Spence. Me and you first time watching this. So, cherry popped,
Yeah, I definitely wanted to see your reaction to everything.
Spence, what the hell were you thinking watching this guy? This is an interesting scene.
This woman's crazy. Yeah, like, and yes, she's been through a lot, been through so much. Her pale skin.
Sarcasm.
I just think that, yeah, she's been through a lot. I mean, losing your husband to the war and things like that. I mean, a lot of people like go through like the anxiety of like, oh no, now I'm pretty much like by myself. and I'm stuck in this place until they get back. But then she was also very mad at the fact that he like wanted the farm life, like he wanted to stay on there, and she just did not. And you know, it kept it all inside. And later on in the scene with her mom, it's just like even her mom could see who she is and was scared of her that way. And I think, Pearl was also scared of what her husband would also think if he actually saw who she was. And I mean, that kind of goes for like almost every relationship that you're in. It's like you don't express like what's kind of going on. And so people grow a resentment, get angry, and then apparently go on a murdering spree.
Hey,
So, you know, um, yeah, I think there's a lot to it. But at the same time, it's a very relatable story in
it
some
is.
ways. So.
It is. It is. Um, so I guess I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna go for a little bit, and then I'll maybe have Keshawn ask us some questions. So I assume a character like this. So I'm gonna do this as a case study. Kind of. We haven't done this type of thing in a minute, but a young woman like this, a young individual like this, I do see them that come in the office. They've been trained or brought up to be one specific thing, and they know that the world's bigger than that, and they see that the world is bigger than that, and they want to become more than that. Some people will be completely fine just being on that farm, doing their thing, or being wherever it is in their hometown, but other people will want to venture out and see what else is out there. So in there creates a lot of being lost, helpless. What's the meaning and purpose of life? It could lead to a tenacity in that individual, that child, or it could lead to a hatred, a grief of not being able to be who they want to be, or at least figure out who they are. It could lead to suicidality. Usually never leads to homicidality. So obviously this is thrown out of proportion in this movie. But it does lead to suicidality. That's very real in this type of scenario. If we think about maybe her mother, so her mother obviously has a lot of shit that we will see in the second scene. But you take all her mother stuff. Back in the day, things are, let's be real, things are really hard for women now, but they're extremely hard for women back then. And so there could be a lot of stuff with the mom, different traumas. She passes down some of that to the daughter. She probably has this depression, self-hatred, hatred for the world as well. The mom passes more of that down to the child. The child grows up with his emptiness. She said, hey, man, something's wrong with me in that first scene that we watched. So there's some emptiness that's been stewing there for a while. And she's trying to figure a way to fill it. Is it, it's not through Howard, or maybe it's getting out. It's always wanting to be loved. And so I relate her to like Homelander, that need and want to be loved, right? Something is missing. A lot of people have that. They've had either bad parents, no parents, abusive, neglectful, abusing, something. And it leads to always wanting to be loved. Technically, we all want to be loved, but some people, even when they get a lot of goodness, it only lets them know how empty they are because there's something legit empty in them. So the mom definitely passes down a ton of shit. Dad can't really, I don't know if dad was a good dad in here, but he's paralyzed. And so he doesn't have an impact. Then that puts more burden on her, because if she leaves the family, shame on her, because now she's leaving her father and she can't do that. And there's a lot of expectations for women now, but specifically back then, families of color women, you got to take care of the family. So I could see her being, if she was a woman of color, even more so obligated to take care of the family. A lot of my students, women of color, that's all they talk to me about is family dynamics. Well, I got to go to school, but I need to be back home to help my family, to be translating or to help them get to appointments. And I'm like, but kid, you gotta turn in your homework. But then I'm betraying them, and there's the code switching into the different worlds. It gets really complicated. So now you got this woman that's like code switching and trying to put on a show to trap this white dude. Dude, because they're all white. So she's trying to trap this dude. And she's trying to, move it on up.
To the next murder.
Well, she wants to live that city life and get off of the farm, not have to work so hard. She wants to have other privileges that, she doesn't have. And so I don't know if she really loved him, but she loved the things that he could do. And then she does a bunch of shit to make him happy. But it's really not to make him happy. It's to make herself happy. So this isn't a relationship built on love and mutual trust. This is a relationship built on using each other. So that's where the hostility is. Look at all the things I've done for you, you motherfucker. Then you left me. Then you put a baby in me. It's like, wow, maybe you should have told him about these things. Maybe you should have talked about these things.
Yeah.
So it leads to a lot of hatred, a lot of anguish, intense emotions. Then he leaves. She feels even more abandoned. So she loses all her coping skills, her grounding, which is the man. And thus she turns into the boogeyman. She starts to vibe in and out of psychosis. This photographer guy, the porn guy, starts showing her some love and this and that. And she gets sexually turned on. She gets attention, right? She's feeling like someone again. She's feeling alive again. But then that makes her just go more crazy because now the self-hatred comes. So now you're getting into this vicious cycle. And now usually it's suicidality, not homicidality. And here it became homicidal. Is an intense character. She is not that far from reality. Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. So Keshawn, I'm going to do a pivot. Keshawn brought up, it's a lot of kids these days grow up like this. Yep. They grow up with it because they want to be artists or creators, something cool, drawing. They want to go into music or teaching or social work. Their parents are like, you need to be a lawyer, an engineer, a mathematician, a scientist, a doctor. Kids like, what the fuck? I don't even know how to do numbers. Or the kid has dyslexia or dyscalculia like my brother. And they're like, I've got no shot at that. But they keep getting pushed and pushed. And my students will come to me. They're like, hey, I'm going to fail all these classes. And I'm probably going to kill myself. I'm like, well, why don't you just change majors, man? Don't worry about your parents. Well, no, I can't do that. I said, well, you're going to die doing this. Or you maybe got a shot at, well, what if I fail at that? We'll figure it out when you get there. We know you're going to take your own life if you continue doing what your parents want you to do. And if you tell them that, maybe they'll get off your ass. So I see it all the time with clients. I see it a lot with my queer students, my trans students, see it all the time. They have to live that dual life and keep their head down, act one way. And then when they come to college or when they come to me, they can be the real them. Then again, suicidality, not homicidality. The suicidality comes up because they're faking so much, so angry, so sad, so shamed. They're shamed from their family, God, community. Things are getting better for a lot of folks these days. When it comes to racial things, when it comes to LGBTQ related issues, things are getting better. Where you can be a little bit more of yourselves. But let's not get it twisted. Some of the places that me and Spencer just went to, you ain't being yourself in those places. Traveling through the country in Montana and Wyoming and all that, right? There was people saying things to me because they thought I was some big, straight, scary looking. I think they know I'm not white, but they treated me like I was white.
Like he's tan. He's just tan.
He's just tan. Interesting. And this is why I want to bring this up, because people need to hide who they are around certain people. And so me and Spencer was sitting on a lake.
Yeah.
Lake, I don't know. It's on the west side. It's on the west side of Glacier. And a big old couple white families there. And this big old white guy starts talking to me about, Indiana and Purdue. And he said, my daughter went to Indiana University and that was a horrible place. I said, why is it horrible? He said, well, during COVID, my daughter was in class with this lesbian teacher and it was a terrible place. I'm like, that's why it was terrible? He said, well, I was cleaning my gun and the teacher almost called the police on me because I was cleaning and shooting my gun in the background. I said, your daughter was in class and you were shooting your rifle? I was like, bruh. Obviously, I didn't say that time and place.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. Crazy ass, gay ass white lady. This is a sin. Yeah. It's a sin, that white bitch.
we got a new clip there.
That's a new clip. It was super weird. I didn't know where that conversation was going. He was being kind of weird and shady. And so the reason why I bring this up is because people say the craziest things. And I'm looking at Spence and I'm looking at my brother and I'm like, yeah, let me not mess with this white guy right now. These are one of those moments where you do bite your tongue. So things are
Yeah.
better in many places, but also as soon as you venture out to some of these country places, whoa, he got mad at the teacher just for being queer, just for being a gay woman. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
So
And that is
interesting
so
topics.
weird.
I'll kick it back to Keshawn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying like that is so weird that like in pockets in the States, there like are sundown towns where like you can't be black in or shouldn't be black in. Just we like as far as we have progressed, there will still be pockets of like cities and states that like you can't be yourself and like you're not allowed to say like what you want to or things are not as accepted. And it'll always be that way, unfortunately. I mean, like we can only get as far as we can with things. Not you can't change everybody,
Nope.
unfortunately.
And it makes you think about like if you were Mia's character, Pearl, and you were in that family where you wanted to be something but you couldn't, it's gonna create a lot of resentment. Maybe not enough to murder him, but trust me, you're gonna want to murder him at times, and you're gonna be angry as shit. And then let's say you finally meet a good person, a best friend or a romantic partner, and then they leave and go to college or they go to the military, and you're gonna feel like they betray you. You're gonna be angry as fuck, and then you're gonna kind of, subtly, surface levelly want them to die. Fuck you, man. I hope you die, right? I've said that to people. I don't actually want them to die, but in that moment, I'm like, you know what? You get hit by a car, fuck you.
I wouldn't be angry.
I wouldn't be angry.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple people that I might, I want to be in the car. Jesus.
But yeah, especially me, like coming from like the military side, you do see that like a lot of entrapping relationships where people, because like most military like recruiting stations are like in poverty-ridden towns to get them out of it. So you get into these like relationships in like through high school and try to like latch on to someone who may be toxic for you, or like the relationship comes toxic after they're in, and it's not entirely what you want. You have to like move around with them because like they're contracted to go like wherever, and you just latch on to this life that you don't really want.
Yep. But don't get it twisted, man. I ain't too mad at her character for latching on to Howard. It's not a good, obviously, love, but she's just trying to do better for herself.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna
like to her, he represented like everything that she wanted out of life, not necessarily like through him.
Correct. And I will say he represents everything that she thinks she wants. Yeah. Because I can guarantee you when she gets there, she's probably still going to feel empty. Like when she makes it famous or wins the medal or all that, it's just like all the other athletes and famous people, they're going to realize, holy shit, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I saw something interesting. I want to shout out one good thing was with someone that's rich that I'm actually not a fan of, but this made me a fan of them. I just saw on the news yesterday that Canelo Alvarez, one of the most famous Mexican boxers, famous boxers in history, he just took $70 million of his own money and created a little city community for homeless people. And it's like, this is fucking awesome. How come we can't do stuff like this in America? We try to, and then the government shuts it down because there's not, regulation and zones. I say this is some people are good and they are trying to figure out when they get famous how to give back, because it's not just about winning and money anymore. Well, you got so much money, what are you going to do with it?
Like now that you mentioned that, like the major like philanthropist, Mr. Beast, he does that like a lot, but like turns like everything kind of like to like a game show. And like no matter like how good he does, you will never see like press talking about like what he does. I think the major press that he did get was going to Africa and curing people's blindness by getting them cataracts.
Yep.
And like you should see more like America, like I'm talking like from America's perspective, like we have a lot of millionaires, a lot of people who have a lot, but they don't do much with it as far as like give back, or you never really see it. Yeah. Or when you do see it, like you see like The Rock giving out millions of dollars, you don't see what becomes of that money.
You don't. And see where some of the Mr. Beasts are like Canelo, it's their thing. They're not just donating it. It's their thing. And so you see it every once in a while. I just saw it. So I wanted to shout it out. Also, it's a Mexican dude. I guess I'm a little salty because a lot of people are commenting on one of our posts, Spencer, from the Hot Cheetos, Flaming Hot. And one of the posts is like taking off when it's him, yelling at his dad, and then a bunch of people are just shitting and being super racist about Mexicans in there. They're like, of course, it's a Mexican trope, and all Mexican dads are worthless. I'm like, whoa, what is going on in these comment sections?
Just wasn't a good dad. Like, it happens.
Yeah, it happens,
Like,
but he ends up being a great dad to his kids in that show and husband. People are super racist. Besides the point. Keshawn, what questions do you have for me and Spencer on this scene?
Mainly, I would just want to talk about like the entrapment. Like, have you? Like, no, not just that, but like how to like get past failure when you have put like all your eggs in one basket. You want to do something, and then you take the opportunity, and then you fail from that. Like, how do you move past like that breaking point?
Yeah, it's a dangerous breaking point. You put everything in the one basket, and then you like, my life is over. Suicidality creeps in. I was watching that damn Avatar: The Last Airbender, and at the end there, they talk about you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. It's gonna be miserable. There's a lot of failures in those last couple episodes, right? I mean, hell, at one point in time, they lose all their fathers and grandparents and elders. They all get captured, and it's like, holy shit! Can't imagine living with that, and then knowing that you have to still fight this fire god, whatever the fuck he's called, Fire Lord. Fire god, the Phoenix King.
The fire god.
You know, it's Spencer has talked about it too before, putting all your eggs in one basket, putting all your eggs in one person. Because what happens if there's some type of betrayal, you fall out of love? You always got to be cautious with your heart, with your mind, with your money, finances. I think though, when you're younger, Keshawn, it's tough because you don't know a lot. And so your point of view and your worldview is very narrow. And so you'll put all of it into your intelligence or into you being a talker or funny, right? And then when you fail at that, now your personality shatters. So how do you recover from that? So me and Spencer just did, we listened to this summit with Kevin Love, the NBA player, national champion, right? And we're partnering with his fund in the coming months and being part of his, NBA championship roster, pretty much.
Yeah.
And there was some other wonderful athlete, and they talked nothing but identity. So what you're talking about, Keshawn, is identity. Your identity is more than a singer, a songwriter, a musician, an artistic person, an autistic person. You're more than just like these little things. Those are just sections of your entire personality.
Yeah.
You're more than just a dude, a black dude, a worker. You're more than just a son, maybe a father one day if you want to be. You're more than just a creative. You're also a good friend. There's many other qualities that you have, right? You're an artist, you're a collaborator, many different things. But if you focus it all on just the collaborations and the art that you do, and then you fail or it doesn't go anywhere quick enough, well, now you're like, I'm a piece of shit and I probably don't deserve to live and I'll never be anything. What the fuck's the point? Actually, everyone hates me. My friends probably hate me too. I don't even know if my parents love me. That's how the spiral goes. It's dangerous. But if you start to look at all the other identities and you're like, hey, I'm not the best at this shit and no one ever is, but I'm pretty good at a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I really do like that answer because like I don't like the idea that like we introduce each other to people as like the title of the job that we have. Like you see that a lot with like growing up, and like that never really changes. Like, but if you do start to like look at your full like pie chart of like everything that you're interested in, everything that you do, then you are a lot more than just this one title.
Yep. Spencer, so what he's talking about is identity. And we just heard about all that Kevin Love stuff. Does all that kind of make sense in what we're talking about? How people, in that way, they don't put it all in one basket? Because I know you referenced it when it comes to love and relationships many a times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I think it's always nice to get out of your comfort zone also sometimes. I think that also helps with it.
Yep.
Like I've never camped before, but then we just go on this camping trip and, did that. And so I was like, yeah, I could do that again. But I think that's a huge part of it. And it's just getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things that actually you might like, or things like you've never even thought of. I mean, how many different types of people do you get to meet every day because you get to, because you stay in your little bubble. You don't meet a lot of new people. It's very narrow. You can't really do it. But then once you finally kind of get out of that space that you're in and start trying to do new things, then you start seeing new people, new horizons,
Yeah,
right? And that's what's so great about just traveling. I mean, that you get to travel all the time. You go to different countries, meet new people, and you've met a lot of probably great people on your travels there and
yeah,
from all different
absolutely.
backgrounds. And so, um, it's everyone who thinks like they're stuck. I mean, like there's so much more out there that I like. I'm always surprised when people do get stuck and get bored and kind of um, feel like they're just in this rut because you could do so many more things. And just no matter what, even if society or whatever is kind of bearing down on you, you can do whatever you want. It's just that you just have to push, like just keep on going and try to do new things. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Absolutely agree.
The thing that you're doing is not working.
yeah.
And so that means we got to change it up. That means we got to do something. Do we need to read? Do we need to exercise? Do we need to make more friends? Do we need to go to Zumba? Right? I'm pushing my clients to do intramurals, whatever. Go do something. Well, one client's like, I'm going on this bike ride bar crawl. I was like, so you on one of them pedal things where you're drinking at the table? She's like, no, you bike ride from bar to bar. I said, this don't sound safe. But hey, well, you do your thing, girl. Do your thing.
Yeah. You do it, and just remember, once it starts getting a little shaky, get off the bike.
Get off the
All
bike.
right?
Get off the bike. Get off the bike. I can't wait to talk to her in therapy. Did you dive in?
And my knee is broken. Thank you.
But yeah, I absolutely agree. I wish people would give themselves more grace when failing, because failure just means like first attempt at in learning something. So I wish more people like take it from that aspect of failing and being like learning to be uncomfortable in different situations, putting themselves in different situations, seeing what they like, seeing different people, getting new perspectives on life. Like I was super fortunate growing up, like post like high school, like having an older friend group, knowing that they failed, knowing that their life could have been like completely different, and not being solidified on just one thing and looking at a full picture from other people, failures, mistakes, and successes.
Yeah, and all these therapists that we've had on, Keshawn, you've heard all the podcasts. All of them have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Common denominator in every single one of them. Some of them will say that in the pod. Most of them have no idea what they're doing. They're just trying every day to just make it, to be happy, to find love, to pay bills. They're just trying to figure it out. Some of them don't even really know bits of their full identity until they speak with me and Spencer. I'm like, hey, there's a couple of things you should know. Because I'll therapize them after the show, and people will come back and literally thank us for a life-changing moment. So all these professionals that are supposed to know all this shit, and they got all their cookies in this one basket, and then me and Spence will talk to them, we'll give them a nugget. Right? There's probably only one thing that I probably couldn't handle as a person, and I've said this on the podcast before. If I can't make someone smile or talk shit, my brain goes just like my father. My father's body's pretty much gone, but his mind is sharp, and he still talks. As long as his mind is good, he's like, I'm good. Same thing with me. But if I can't make people smile, though, I don't know if there's a point for me. I'm sure I'll find a point and I'll pivot, but still.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of cookies, a lot of eggs, and a lot of baskets, but that one is like the main one. So if I can't lose the ability to articulate and talk shit, that'd be a tough life. It'd be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, Spencer said, experience, learn, meet new people. We met you. We've met a ton of other great people. You learn what you like. You learn what you don't like.
Absolutely.
And failure is you learning. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What happened? What went wrong? Does not mean the end of life. Does not mean that you need to put your head down and just live through the trauma and then never change. And I know what it's like to put your head down and just wake up one day and like, hopefully it'll be better. Remember doing that when my father was in prison. Like, eventually it'll be okay. Just another day, another month, another year. And like, oh, here we go. Now we're good. Okay. So folks that are putting their head in the sand because they have to, I get it. But if you're trying to connect with people and talk to people and like find like real intimacy, you need to start talking and opening up. Don't do it like her or hold it in. And then everyone hates me. You ain't never told no one who you are. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to communicate, girl. Oh, I'm just going to murder you now. Oh, okay. Well, you still
Axe in the back.
You legit alone now, you crazy ass.
No, she still got Howard. She's got Howard.
Well, technically, she still had her parents at the table. So, I mean, it was a full.
Yeah, she did. She did for a little bit.
Lively
Yeah.
family. Lively
Till she
family.
burned them.
Yeah.
Till she burned them.
Mama's still looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, just move over that,
Mama-
burnt off hair.
Yeah, Mama turned into a strong black woman.
Yeah, she did.
She was
So there is technically a black person in the movie.
There
Extra
is.
crispy.
It's me. Girl got Kentucky fried.
You smell delicious.
Is that chicken?
Oh my God.
No, this is pork. Haram.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So that second scene
Yeah.
Mhm.
explains a lot about the mom. Right, they're going at it. Right, I'm glad that you brought this up and you want us to do it. You really get to see the ma's anger and hostility. And I think what's interesting to me, the most interesting part is, I knew she was going to say is, you want to go fail? Go, and you will. Because you suck and you ain't shit and you're stupid and you're ugly and all that. That's what the ma's insinuating. So now you get to see why Pearl's a little bit more fucked up, because the ma's really messed up and she's been putting these horrible things in her head. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to go. And then the girl says, I just don't want to be like you, Mom. And then that's when the mom snaps and slaps her. And then right, they get into the fight. That had to hurt. Saying, I don't want to end up like you, Mom. That reminds me of my clients that are in arguments with their parents. And the worst fear is that they'll be their parent, either an abuser, a manipulator, a narcissist, physical abuser, right, sexual abuser, all of it. They're terrified that they're going to become their parents. And I have some students that contemplate suicidality, suicidal thoughts, right? They contemplate end of life because they don't want to be that monster. And here, she doesn't want to be her mother miserable. I got a lot of kids that don't want to be like their parents and miserable. And it's always terrifying that there's a chance you will, because that's what you grew up with. That's what you know. You know, I grew up and there's certain things I didn't want to do like my mom and dad. And then I see a lot of traits, which is fine. But sometimes those traits scare me. Like I'll ebb into these other ones. I'm grown now. So, these things didn't happen, but you get worried. You're like, oh shit, I'm about to start murdering people. And I don't even know like what parent did that come from, mom or dad, because they're both interesting people. So FBI, don't listen. So that's a terrifying thing. And when you confront that parent that is an abuser, they're probably going to narcissistically rage. That mom raged because of the shame and the pain and anger of that she's had to lose everything to take care of this man, right? Mom's in a lot of grief. So great scene there of just emotional pain. But bro, she is a horrible fucking mother. Bruh. She provided a roof and all that, but she literally beat Pearl into a pulp mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was tough.
Like the one reason like I wanted to bring in that scene, because it kind of gives you like a full picture of why Pearl is the way she is. You can kind of see the mom protecting the world away from Pearl because she knows what she does. She knows like who she is.
Yep.
And and with Pearl, like she just doesn't want her to be her mom. She doesn't want to be on the farm. She doesn't want to be taking care of someone that she doesn't really love. And there's that one quip that the mother said about like, what about us? What about what we want? Because she had to, when her husband got sick and she had to take care of him, like that's not the life she envisioned for herself. And she had ambition. She had things she wanted to do in life that she wanted to see, but she had to swallow all that down to take care of her husband and the family. So like her life isn't fair too. Like her life definitely sucks too, and she had to swallow that down for the family, and she just wanted Pearl to do the same.
Yeah, and Pearl grew up in the first scene to say that everything sucks. Life is miserable. Why would I want to bring a kid into this? It's so miserable. I don't even want to live. Why would I have a kid? It's a lot of depression. Life is draining. And then big old crocodile tears too when she did that, said that. Hey, for reality, Spence, this is people's reality. Pearl's reality and that misery is like for real. Yeah. It was an interesting person that made a comment in one of our comments for Sopranos. I was like, dude, I need to report this. They're like, pretty much they said they were going to take their own life in the comments. And I was like, whoa, you need to get some help and we need to flag this. So I did some of those things. A lot of people hurting out there. A lot of people hurting because of the world or family, economics, the war, the genocide that's going on, horrible things in other countries. The hurricanes just demolished an entire island, right? No one talks about it. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things that happen in the world. Tornadoes blowing through the United States, people losing everything. People getting cancer, losing their entire life savings and completely into debt. So now they can't even do anything because they're homeless. But, at least they didn't die from cancer, but now you're homeless. Life is scary. And I get a lot of people don't want to bring kids into this world. But if you do, man, you got to try your best not to put your shit on them, man. And I get that the mom got a raw deal. But Jesus Christ, did you have to be so horrible to the kid? Maybe you can't control it. I don't know. It sure was fucked up when she said she has to wipe the drool off him. I signed it to be his wife, not his mother.
Yes.
That was a good one. And you were right. She had to protect the world from Pearl because she knew she was losing her shit. So I said, Mom, you're the one causing her to lose her shit.
Yeah. I don't think like an abuser knows that they're doing that to someone, or maybe they do, but that's tough to grow up with.
Yeah, yes and no. Some abusers know what they're doing, and then they repeat the cycle. So they'll spew the violence or hatred, and then they'll love bomb, apologize, hatred, love bomb, apologize, right? It's just a horrible cycle like that. Some do know what they did, and then they hate themselves for it, but then that makes them only more depressed and more angry that they did it, and then it just worsens the cycle, just like addiction, right? You drink, and then it makes you more depressed, and so then you drink some more because you're depressed, and then, horrible cycle. Because you see the look on the other person's face, and then you feel horrific, and then that horrific feeling just makes you be a shit person. Interesting. I cannot for the life of me believe that Howard stays with Homegirl. You tell me Howard stays with her.
Yes. So in the movie X, like Pearl and Howard, they grow up they live their days on that farm. They never leave. They rent out their barnyard to visitors, like for basically like renters, like in the very first movie X. So yeah, he stays, and they haven't explored that yet of like why he does, especially coming back home from World War I and dealing with seeing her, his parents-in-law sitting there dead at the dinner table with your smiling wife. That's insane to come home to and to stay to. But oh shit. No.
Oh, you're gone. Oh, there you
Sorry
go.
about it.
Well, we killed the black guy in our show, so.
All right, well. First horror film we watched, black guy dies.
Yeah, black guy dies.
First to die.
Cheeky.
Spencer made an interesting comment in the off scenes. I don't know if we'll repeat that, but he must have stuck around for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jesus, Keshawn. This podcast does not condone sex at all. Everyone is celibate on here.
Yes. Crazy or sane, we do not condone it.
Yeah. Everyone is virgins.
Yes.
God, if you're listening.
We always wear condoms on this podcast.
I'm also not gay,
Well,
um,
that we have to question.
so
I'm glad you mentioned that about religion too, because she said back in like the first scene that God answers everyone else's prayers, but not mine. Like that's also like a falling out of like her whole support system as well.
Yep. You're looking at other people, and we're talking about society. Everyone's getting famous, this and that, and you're always comparing yourself to other people. When you start comparing yourself to other people, you are going to be depressed. So literally, you have to run your own race. It's always about you trying to be better than the version of yourself over and over. But when you start looking out on social media, your friends, or they got this scholarship, or it starts to get real weird. You start to get real angry, resentful. And then if you are religious, you pray for things, right? And maybe they don't come, maybe they do come. And then you start to hate God. And then when you start to betray your religion, which is fine, a lot of people discern out. But that has another identity crisis because now you're losing your faith. And so with that can create more psychosis, suicidality, things like that. But yeah, she's talking it's funny though. She's talking, she's healthy, family's okay. You're eating, you got food, you live in a nice place. You're not in the war, but everything's woe is me. I just find it interesting where I'm sure other black and brown folks at this time were just getting slaughtered.
You could not literally go outside your house without like something probably happening. Probably.
And so I always watch these things with the context of like race and class.
I mean,
she's talking to this bougie ass white lady, her sister-in-law, and she, you get everything. I'm like, girl, you got a lot too. you got a lot too.
You just like the stabbings, all right? You just love the stabbing.
You love stabbing. Howard, I guess, stays with her. Maybe he's a little serial killer too. Maybe he just wants to protect the world from her. Is there any murder in the first movie or no?
Yes, there is.
Murder in the first movie.
Yeah, Pearl never really stops, but Howard does help.
Yeah, the first one's all murder. What are you talking about? It's literally everyone gets murdered in that movie.
So it's because
everyone except for Maxine.
Okay.
Exactly.
And is it they're just murdering people that rent out the barnyard? Is that what it is?
Well, because in the X movie, Pearl is sex obsessed because she's no longer having sex with her husband Howard. So these the renter who does come in, Maxine and her crew, they shoot a porno in their barn. So Pearl, like she's like 70 at this point, is basically trying to seduce their crew, both the men and the women. And when they reject her, she lashes out and kills them. And Howard, to protect Pearl, kills them as well to try to like cover it up pretty much.
Oh, got it. So she's 70 in this movie.
In X.
In X, yeah, in X. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or just like very elderly. I don't think they actually say her age, but she's an elder.
She looking good still? No? Okay.
as much as one who's like 60, 70 Kendi.
Hey,
you can still get down. They do.
Yeah. Who needs teeth?
Yeah.
Hey, it's good to have a good sex life,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The highest rates.
At any point of age.
Any point of age. Yeah, I'm all for it. The highest rate of STIs is actually in the old folks' homes.
Elder care. Yeah, and adult care. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all just messing around in there.
Yeah.
But just like oh God.
Yeah, I know.
You ever walk into like an old home, you're just like, I know all of you are just freaks in here. Just freaking everywhere. You fucking.
Did you see the Olympic Village? Because I guess the Olympic Village is like the highest sex place like ever. And so they've tried to make it like less sexy and the room's like less uncomfortable. I'm like, people are going to have sex and fuck wherever they want.
You can stand up. All right.
Yeah.
They're athletes.
I'm going to tombstone pile drive you into this.
Yeah. I'll have a desk, anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's okay. They're like the biggest athletes in their sports. I think they'll probably find a way.
Yeah.
peak physical condition.
Peak physical condition, horny as shit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine the babies that are born then? Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
This is it. We're just over here breeding. That's what we're doing.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Is anyone else getting sweaty?
Calm down.
I need a can of corn or something.
Can I have a guest pass to the Olympic Village, please? Thank you. Paris, here we come.
I just want to watch. Yeah.
I don't need to be involved.
Are there tickets for this?
No.
Jesus Christ. This took a turn.
Yeah, it did. Well,
Any other last questions that Keshawn that you wanted to beep around my mind, bop around, beep around?
I mean, yeah, we talked like a little bit of everything, including like the social media side of like people wanting to be liked and famous and loved. I don't know if you're keeping this in about like the Haktua girl, how like she's like literally blowing up, and like we blow up really like the wrong people as far as just like in society.
We do.
I think we talked about like a little bit of everything that dealing with Pearl.
It's crazy though, the Haktua girl. I mean, she looks awesome as like a person.
Yeah.
She looks fun and kind and friendly. She's attractive, right? And so she's perfect to like promote. So I don't hate her. I just hate that, it's in my feed nonstop. I'm like, Jesus, okay, I get it. Okay. She isn't the first one to like touch a penis. Like, it's fine. I don't understand
that. How?
And that's the thing too. Like, she's only like 22 and now looking at like tens of thousands of dollars deals and like blowing up from this small town in Tennessee.
Is what it is.
And while everyone else works like a 9 to 5. So I can see the resentment people get of like, that could be me, or like, why not me?
Here's the backlash is that people actually want to like be her now. I'm like, what's the next thing? They're going to talk about like eating shit? Like, I don't.
Any type of clip that can get you famous, like you never really know. Like she's like, is she, with all respect to her, like she is blowing up her 15 minutes of fame for as much as she can extort it for. Like definitely good for her. Like I think that's more of like society's fault of like allowing that to happen. That we can take these small instances of people's 15 seconds of like a funny little clip or something and blow it up to where they're good now. Like they don't have to work for the rest of their life based off just one thing. And it just
Also to go with that,
crazy.
There's this viral thing that went around too, of this woman who flashed her chest at a Oilers game, right?
Yeah.
Now she has a deal with Playboy and stuff like that. And you're just like, so it's just like, okay, you just there are times where it's just there are privileges for everything and everywhere where you go. And and it's you don't want to get into that thing of just like, well, you're privileged here, you're privileged there. But it's at the same time, it's just like you blow up because of these certain things that are, you could say, are somewhat detriment to where we are in life. But at the same time, we've been in that place for a long time, since, forever. So it's like, it's whatever. And, make your money and all that. I mean, whatever, I'm not going to stop you. But at the same time, these people seem like they were already well off in the beginning anyways.
True.
So it's like,
absolutely.
I don't, it's not really like a come up story. Like, oh yeah, I was on the streets and I just went, and then all of a sudden I have all this money and now I'm fine. And now I can provide for my family.
Yeah.
No, these are like young white women who just get to, get even more successful and more into whatever bag that they get into. So,
my issue with things like this and social media is they can do whatever the fuck they want and they get successful. It's fine. My thing is what it passes down is to the next person needs to top it. The next person needs to top it. It creates like this pressure of like, I need to create something viral. Everyone wants to create something viral. So it's this cesspool and toxicity of creating something viral or you're worthless. And that's what I think fucks us up the most is, okay, they did something cool, right? It's funny, but like, do you have to be that, or do you have to be just like them? Mm-hmm. Do you have to be, and this is what I hate, do you have to be this cherry picking ass piece of shit politician or media person that's a Democrat but then turns Republican so they can get clout and go on Fox News, or that's a Democrat or a Republican but then they go Democrat to make money. There's a lot of people doing this wishy-washy stuff where they betray everything just to make some money. I get make your money, but then now everyone wants to say viral shit. Everyone wants to be contrarian. Every show you watch, everyone's yelling at everyone because it's all about a viral clip. Who yells the loudest? Who says the most wildest thing? What can I do to sell out and make a ton of money? And that's what I hate is, everyone's like, let me not be me because I need to be what makes me money.
Yeah.
I need to post and do a podcast on what's going to make solely money because that's what people want to see and click on. And then you only do like famous shows. So I'm glad that you picked this horror movie. I'm glad it did make a ton of movie. I don't give a fuck what movies people bring to us. As long as we can make something out of it, let's do it.
Yeah. I'm glad y'all do get the freedom for like people to. I mean, I know you have like a list of recommendations.
That's just
so
a
I'm
recommendations.
glad y'all do like allow guests. Yeah, I'm glad y'all allow guests to like choose their movie and bring it in.
Oh yeah, we get to. Yeah, they choose whatever the hell they want nowadays. Yeah, I force them to not go from the list. The list is just in case you just something comes up or you can't think of anything, but you just want to have some fun with us. But yeah, me and Spence, no, don't worry about the list.
Yeah, no. And sometimes people, they do get stuck on that and they're like, oh, I'll just pick this because it's on there and everything like that. And it's just, and then it doesn't turn into a good show because you're not invested in it at all. And it doesn't match with what you are actually talking about or the subject you want to bring up. And that's where we've had like problems with some guests, not a lot
Just
at
a
all,
few.
but just a few where it was just like, okay, like, you are like over here and the movie's over here. I don't know how we're gonna connect these at all, but we find a way. But at the same time, it's a little tough.
If we find a way, we're good. But recently, we've been good finding a way.
Yeah.
The podcast is actually turning into something. The only update we have for folks is I would assume come the school year, it'll just be one podcast coming out a week, not two. But we're gonna keep pumping out two as long as we can. Then when the school year gets deep. Because now the private practice is open, right? I need to try and teach. My dumbass. I thought I could be assistant professor immediately with my resume. Turns out you need to be an adjunct professor first before you get a full-time professor job.
What?
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, I should have figured that out.
I can do this. I'm good.
You need brown men in this space. They're like, nope. I can't even claim racism. I can't even claim racism. I'm just an idiot.
No DEI hire.
Yeah. Spence, any sauce? Anything you got?
No, I guess go watch Maxine. I don't know.
Go watch them have sex and murder people. That's like the fan favorite.
I've seen only one scene, and they put it like it was either in the movie theater or something like that, where like she's getting like a plastic silicone version of her face or something, and so they have to like put on like this whole like mask thing.
Oh, I did see
on
that.
top of her, and then it's like all she can do is breathe through like her two nose holes and stuff. I was like, that's gonna lead to some anxiety there for some people.
Yeah,
a little claustrophobic, maybe.
A little bit,
maybe. But yeah, so yeah. All right, Keshawn, anything before we get out of here?
Shout out A24. I think like they're one of the best studios that are making like actually different movies, that stories like you have never seen before. There's have never been anything like Pearl, like X, like Maxine. Shout out to my art crew. I'll give y'all all the descriptions for them for their links. And hi Constance, she wanted me to say that. She'll hear that in her headphones.
Hello, Constance.
But yeah,
I think Constance also listens and follows too. So much,
she does.
Yeah, I love Constance. They gave us some.
I put her on.
Yeah, hell yeah. What's up, Constance?
Yeah. But yeah, thank y'all for having me on again. I love doing this. So like whenever y'all reach out to me again for another episode, I would love to. Y'all are the best. Keep doing what y'all doing, and keep being y'all.
We love having you, Keshawn. Always a great guest. Before we go, please go check out lost_soul_clothing brand. That's Keshawn's clothing brand. That's also made with his artists that he has as well. So please go check it out. Give him a follow. And yeah, so with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Podcast.
All right, everyone. Much love. And remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
That's completely up to you. Peace.
Why do I have a feeling like you wrote that down and you were like, I have to fucking say it. I have to say this. I have to say this.
I did
have
it
to say
good.
this."
I did it good.
You did.
Everything I
You
fucked up
did.
today, I did
That's
it
why I
good.
was surprised. That's why I was surprised because before we went on break, you fucked it up.
I
And
fucked
you're
up
like,
everything.
We're gonna go.
Nothing worked today, but that worked. All right, this is
All right.
official goodbye. Everything worked today.
Oh,
Bye.
okay. I thought we were out.
Perfect,
Bye.
perfect.